All right, so let's dive on it. Part 3 of understanding your metabolism. So yesterday we spent the day going over your base metabolic rate. So these are all of the things that affect the calories that you burn when you're sitting down, when you're lying down, basically when you're doing nothing. And so today we're going to look at exercise activity specifically. So obviously, you're going to burn calories when you're working out. But what affects how many calories you burn in a workout? I'm actually a big advocate for shorter workouts, 20 minutes, 30 minutes, probably not more than 40 to 45 minutes for most people most of the time. Of course, there are higher level athletes that will do more than that, but for most of us who are busy or just getting started, too much can actually hurt you. And I don't mean cause injuries, I mean they can actually impede the process of fat loss. So how do you both thread the needle and maximize calorie burn? So as with all of the variables that I'm going to mention today, it is possible to go too far. But whenever you hit the sweet spot with them, then your calorie burn goes through the roof and you get lots of results for a minimal amount of time with your workouts. Okay, so back up here. Definition of exercise activity thermogenesis. That's basically fuel used to perform intense work or activity. So, you might consider helping somebody move and carrying a sofa a type of exercise, but we're not going to be looking at lower level activities like walking. So we're looking at intense work or intense activity, okay? So first thing that you can do is, of course, you can do cardio. So, for a lot of people, this is what they try first. I'm going to go for a walk. Again, walks typically don't actually, unless you're somebody who's just getting started, a walk is not enough to really count for exercise. It's more of a non-exercise activity. There are things that you can do to change that, of course, but generally speaking, I'm not going to count walking as an exercise. It would be jogging, walking, the rower, the elliptical, and pretty much anything where your heart rate's going to be up more than just a smidge, okay? So again, with cardio style workouts, this will burn calories during the workout. However, after the workout, there is very little, if any, post-exercise metabolism elevation. So what that means is you'll burn calories during your run or during your rowing session or whatever the case may be. But generally speaking, you will not burn more calories following as a result of the workout. Maybe a little bit for a few minutes, maybe half an hour to an hour afterwards as your body kind of just recovers and comes back to normal. But there's not going to be a prolonged period of metabolism elevation. As opposed to resistance training, which includes high intensity interval training, but not, it goes beyond high intensity interval work. Resistance training will yield a much bigger calorie boost for 24 to 72 hours after the workout ends. So this is body weight training, dumbbells, kettlebells, barbells, resistance bands, really anything that you use that either pushes or pulls on your body while you do the opposite. So when you're pushing on the ground, that's a push-up, that's resistance training. Gravity is resisting you. Or if you're on your back and you're doing, say, a chest press with dumbbells, then you're pressing the dumbbells away from you, or you're pulling them towards you if you're doing a row. These types of movements, they have a completely different effect on the body. So whenever you go back here to cardio style stuff, unless you're doing specific types of training, and most people are not, there's going to reach a point, usually after a couple of weeks, 2 to 4 weeks, where there's not a whole lot more adaptation that is happening. But properly designed resistance training will actually cause adaptation responses every single time, and those adaptation responses will increase the calories that you need to recover from that workout, okay? So you'll burn sugar that then has to be replenished. That's called glycogen. You will tear down muscle tissue that has to be repaired. And not just repaired, but improved for next time. That's why you get stronger. So, and on top of that, it is entirely possible to burn as many, if not more calories per minute using properly designed resistance training workouts than cardio style workouts. So, if you really want to maximize your calorie burn both during and after your workout, resistance training should make up the bulk of your exercise. What goes into that? Okay, exercise choices makes a big difference. So bigger movements and or bigger body parts involved in the movement will yield more muscle or more calorie burn. So For example, if you were going to do a calf raise where, okay, you're working a muscle, you may be working that muscle really hard, but if I were to put a heart rate monitor on you, we'd see your heart rate's probably not getting very high from doing a smaller movement. Whereas if you do something like deadlifts or burpees that use a bunch of big muscles and take your body through a big range of motion, a large distance, you will see that your heart rate will skyrocket. I've seen my heart rate go over 180, I think actually even over 190 just from a good heavy set of deadlifts. So bigger exercises, bigger movements, bigger body parts, you will burn more calories. Shorter rest periods, of course, you can imagine if you're not resting as much, your heart rate's going to go even higher. So erring towards shorter rest periods will usually yield a higher heart rate and more calorie burn because you don't have as much time to recover and for your body to relax and come back to normal from one set to the next. So now this will depend on your goal, but if your goal is fat loss, you want to err towards shorter rest periods, 20 seconds, 30, 40, maybe 60 seconds, depending on the workout. Increasing the weight or finding a way to increase the resistance will increase both the calories burned during the workout and will increase the calories burned following the workout, okay? So if you've been, I'll say usually a lot of ladies tend to get in the habit of picking up the same weights all the time. Some guys do the same thing. Some women don't necessarily have that problem, but it's a common one that I've seen with ladies that I've worked with is they tend to go back to weights that they're comfortable with and that they have used before. However, if you were to increase the weights, even by just a little bit, to challenge yourself a little bit more, then there's something more for your body to adapt to. If you do continue doing the same workouts with the same weights, it's really no different than going for that same 3-mile jog. After doing that for a little while, there's no more adaptation and you actually stop gaining the afterburn effect, the additional calorie burn from the workouts. So, that idea that doing resistance training causes an elevated calorie burn, that's only as long as your body is getting something new to adapt to, okay? So easiest way to do this often is to find some way to make the exercise more difficult. It doesn't necessarily have to be increasing the weight. You could increase the reps. You can clean up your form. Honestly, for a lot of people, just cleaning up your form is almost like making the weights heavier. If you're trying to be more strict and make sure that you're working on the exercise and doing it in the best way possible. Going from 10-pound to 12-pound dumbbells, 7-pound to 8 to 10-pound dumbbells, it makes a big difference, especially over time. And then the next one. So, supersets or circuits. So a lot of times, whenever people just get started, you go in, you do one exercise, you do your 3 sets of 10. Or whatever workout you've got planned. But you're only doing one exercise, rest. You do the same exercise again, rest. You do the same exercise again. And a lot of the time, you can actually get a lot more work done by trading exercises. So for example, instead of doing one exercise and resting for a minute and then doing it again, you can do 2 exercises and rest 45 seconds in between each. This means you're actually going to get a minute and a half between each set of the same exercise. So let's just say, for simplicity, push-ups and squats. So you do a set of push-ups, wait 45 seconds, you do a set of squats, wait 45 seconds, and then do your second set of push-ups. If you do that, your push-up muscles get to rest longer, and you also get more work done in a shorter period of time because you're only resting 45 seconds between sets instead of 60 seconds. So you can either make your workout shorter or fit more work in the same period of time by doing either a superset, which is where you alternate 2 exercises, or circuits, which is where you're circuiting through 3 or more exercises. So that's a really neat hack. That's one I personally love to do. I almost never do just one exercise at a time anymore. In the same workout. By the way, if you're working with us and you go and you look at the workouts that we designed for you, you will probably see, oh, okay, I see what they're doing here. Because we'll actually use a lot of these principles to design workouts, and most of the time our clients don't have any clue what we're doing or the thought process that goes behind these workouts. But a lot of times this is what we're trying to do, is to try to make the most of your time when you're doing a workout. So more body parts in one workout. So obviously we mentioned earlier, More body parts and bigger body parts in one exercise means that one exercise will burn more calories compared to another. So curls will not burn as many calories as rows, even though they both hit biceps. The rows hits more body parts. So if you were to do more body parts throughout the workout, so you're doing push-ups, which is a pressing motion. You're doing squats, which is a leg pressing motion. Then you go and do rows, which is a pulling motion. And then you do abs. So there we've got 4 different general body parts. That workout is going to burn more calories than, for example, a chest and bicep workouts where you do, bench press, and then you do curls, and then you do incline bench press, and then you go do preacher curls. Whenever you spread the work out throughout the body, your body has to work harder in order to fuel itself, because the workload is shifting from one part of the body to the rest, from one part of the body to another, and it is harder for your body, especially your heart, to keep all of these things fueled so that they can recover between bouts. That's actually part of why one of my favorite tricks to do is to use what's called a high-low pairing for exercises. So I'll go from upper body, push-ups maybe, to lower body, squats, then maybe I'll go back to upper body for rows, and then I go back to lower body and do step-ups. Whenever you go high, low, upper body, lower body, upper body, lower body, it makes it even harder because your body kind of has to chase the work around with the blood. Okay, don't know why I got a call, but looks like we're still live. So that's a neat trick, especially if you got somebody who maybe needs to be humbled a little bit. So if you're ever putting together something you just want to make somebody throw up, that's a good one. I don't often do that for people. It's still a neat trick. It doesn't always make you throw up, but if you know somebody and you really need to work them hard really quickly, this is a good trick. Ultimately, whenever it comes down to it, effort burns calories, not reps, not weight, not exercise. It is how hard you are working, how much you're putting into the workout, and how deeply you're having to dig to keep going. Now, like I said, all of these can be overdone. I don't actually like whenever people throw up during a workout. I think most of the time it means you're pushing too hard, and every so often things like that will happen, especially if something catches you by surprise, but it's not safe, okay? But you do want to push hard, to work hard. So what we're looking at here is your proximity to failure. So how many reps did you do and how many reps could you have done? If you're doing 10 reps, are you using a heavy enough weight that 10 reps is really challenging? 11 or 12 reps maybe are questionable. You may not be able to get them. That's how close to failure you are. Or if you're doing something like a time set, you're going to do 30 seconds of push-ups. Okay, you did 10 push-ups, but you could have done 20, then the effort's not quite high enough there. You'd want to push higher. Try to get 15, 18, 20 reps in the same amount of time. What we're looking at here as a measure for the whole workout is rating of perceived exertion. So what this is you give the workout a rating on a scale of 1 to 10. I tell people 10, if your workout was a 10, then you either thought you were going to pass out or you thought you were going to die. You're probably not going to die. But the idea is that you're working that hard. You probably could not have done any more. And then the more you feel you could have done, the lower the number would be. And so the goal is to keep it at a 7 to 9 most of the time. If you're feeling sick, okay, then going into a workout at a 5 is perfectly fine. But most of the time you're looking at 7, 8, 9 on the effort scale. And keep in mind that this is you versus you. So you see somebody else lifting bigger weights, do not try to compete with them. You see somebody else moving faster, do not try to compete with them. Doing more reps, do not try to compete with them. Your job with each workout is to compete with you and say, what did I do last time? Can I do more this time safely? Okay? So, again, whenever you do that, if I were to put you on a heart rate monitor and track your calories and your heart rate throughout the workout, you focus on these things, I guarantee you'll increase your calorie burn in a single workout by 20 to 50%. And as a general rule, for a 30-minute workout, it's possible to burn anywhere from 200 to 450 or so calories. Usually, if you're getting about 15 calories per minute, that's pretty high. Some people a little bit higher, but you want to try to make sure you're not going below 8 calories a minute if you're tracking. Do not use Apple Watches or wrist-based devices for those numbers. They do not track consistently compared to a chest strap. So I find usually whatever this says, add 50%, it's probably closer to the truth. But so there we are. That's exercise, activity, thermogenesis, how many calories you burn per workout. So you can imagine if you were to burn 300 calories per workout, you could get 1,200 calories a week. And that is actually a very good place for a lot of people. You can get a lot of work done. So tomorrow we're going to go over non-exercise activity, everything besides working out that you can do that increases the amount of calories that you burn throughout the day based on what you're doing, okay?